Okay, people, so now it's October 12th, 2019. It's about 20 to 10 at night. I'm in the dark. I got just a little light beside me, and I'm tired. What you're looking at here is tubing, people. Okay, and I've used the exposure on this photo, which we've already seen. But I want you to look at this, okay? We're going to start with this way. Oh, it's kind of hard for me to figure out what's the best method to do this. I'm just pushing the box forward. But then what happens is the height of the books begin to change. I have one big book there versus a bunch of little books on a box. So we're going to switch this around. This is the only way, people. Okay, so there's the picture. Okay. We'll start with this first. I have the other screen on there. I don't know if it's making much of a difference at this point. What I want to do, see, and then because I have the screen sitting on something, I can't push the box any closer than that. So I'm going to have to pick up the camera, people, and we're just going to have to move in like the good old days. Oh, and because it's off to the corner here, it's kind of hard to see. I'm already bringing down books. What I want you to notice is how this tubing has something in it. Right? You can see just by the way the pixels are. I'm going to come in much closer. Right? Okay. Now this is something I had already done previously, but I'll take you to the original photo and I'll walk you through it. But for now, I just want you to just kind of focus on those. And then, see, I have to move this stuff around, people. That's the only way. Look at her face. And look how dark it is down in here. Okay, this is her chin. Look at that. And look at the color of her face. And look at the color of the tubes. Here, I'll pull it away. Do you see that? I keep moving this stuff, and what's happening is I'm scratching my magnifying glasses as I'm going along. There. Okay. You can see that. If you look at the colors for this, and you look at the colors for that, they're equal in kind. There's not too much else in terms of that same color. There's this, whatever that is. Alright, there is, where are we? There's that, which looks like it might be a light. You know, they have a little bit of something there. And then we've got a bit, those must be lights. Those must be lights, people. Those are lights. Okay? This is lights. Lights. Probably lights. Not too sure what that is. But whatever this is the same color as the upper part of her face. And then you can see there's a little similar color there. right? And then her neck area. Where's my finger? In here. Right up in here. Is slightly a similar color. Right? You can see that's her mouth, that's her tongue with her lip, cheek. Right? Hold on a minute. Okay. So I got it as level as I can get it right now at this point. Obviously this picture has been cropped. Again, I don't know if it's the 16th or the 19th. I'm a bit of a scatterbrain here, people. I'm just looking for things right now. The dates are on my other computer there with a different freaking file. So we'll clear that up later. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to resize this one more time. We're going to work with this picture for a little bit. I've got other ones, but I'm also going to bring up the original, and then we're going to put it through exposure. What am I doing? We're going to put it through exposure like I did with the last video. But for now, we're just going to bring it up. You can see. Right, and because the camera is far enough away, you shouldn't see none of this, you know, flashing and the pixels and all this other crap, right? If I use the screen, I don't know. It seems to work best if I'm going right up in front, but if you notice this tube, it's pretty clear. It's just a tube, right? There's really nothing much in it from what we can tell from this distance. Excuse me. Here's one of those, I guess, connectors or something. Obviously there's a tube in there. Can you see my little mouse? Well, it's not really a mouse, but right. Again, I wish I had 8 hands to do this, or at least a better system. I haven't been able to really find time to figure it out. But you can see, here's another tube of some kind that's clear. Right. You can see how dark this is in here. All this. You can't even see my paintbrush. See, I'm going to need another book. I don't even see a book. I'll just keep moving first. When the mouse looks like that, it's hard to find. Now we're getting into these tubes. Maybe if I just move the camera up like that, just on an angle, you can see it's clear in here, and then all of a sudden it picks up on some color. It kind of goes clear again. It picks up with some color. Down in here, it's kind of clear in terms of like white, right? But it's got specks of color in there. Same thing here. It breaks up again. You can see the white in there. Right, same thing up in here. You can see the white, but out and then up in here, you can see. But outside of that, it's coming in red just right up in there. So what we're gonna do, and then we've got this one over here, which I'm thinking probably is hanging over the bed, kind of going like that, right? And it's the same color in here. There's a little bit of it there. Okay, and how many tubes do we see here, people? Let's count. 1, okay, so that's 1, 2, 3. Okay, let's just start. Looks like this is 1. This one comes from here, so it goes like that. It goes round and up, looks like that. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. At least 4. I don't know what that is, and I don't know what that is. So at least 4. 4 that we can distinguish at this point, right? What would happen if I resized it one more time? I'll just resize it by 200. Again, I'm working in the dark, so it's hard for me to see my keyboard. Oh, it says 300. We'll do it by 3. I don't know what that is. That is something. And I'll bring it down. You can see the different colors in here. Right? You can see how there's different kind of colors in this. And now we're getting up into there. Oops. That's obviously her face. What we want are those tubes. There's those tubes. So I'm basically keeping the camera at the same distance, and I'm just resizing the program. And you can clearly see there's nothing in here. Nothing. But when you get into here, you can start to see it. Same thing with this in the background, which is probably another tube. Alright. Where am I? Do you see what I'm talking about? It's mixed in with something else. It's not a solid liquid of by itself. Look at this. Do you see? I'll bring it in. Maybe bring it out. Okay, you can see that it's a solution of different things. It's not just one. It's not like blood. They can't say they were giving her blood. This is not blood. Blood doesn't do this, people. Okay? Blood doesn't do this. But it's something that is equal to the color of her face. Right? So what would happen, I don't think going in with the camera is going to show us with really anything at this point with this exposure. But I'm just curious to see what happens if I bring it up by another 200. Holding the camera, using the mouse, straining my arm. Okay, you've seen it change. I'm currently using Paint on Windows 7. They took away this feature on Windows 10. I'm noticing that as they're coming out with these new computers, they're taking away all the tools and programs that allow you to do this kind of stuff. I mean, you can see that there's definitely a difference in terms of what's going through the tube. and how it's going through it. Okay, and this is why I'm showing you this first, and then I'm going to show you the original picture, and then I'm going to walk you through the exposure stage. Look how bright that one is. Well, if I bring him in like this, you can really see it. You can really see it here, 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 here. You can see how it changes here, fills up in here. So, in other words, something is running through these tubes, only we don't know what. I'm looking for what was on the side, but I don't know what happens when you, yeah. That's the one that goes off the bed. You can see it clear, and then it's kind of yellowish in here, which is probably not picking up because I don't see it in the camera. But you can see how it changes in here. Right? So what we're going to do is exit out of that. Now, this is paint as well. Same picture, only enhanced. There are the tubes with basically the original color. In other words, the pillow that they have her laying on, there's her face, there's her jaw. You can see how dark it is, right? And they've got her on a pillow, the back, like she's on a white pillow. There's obviously stains on it, because you can see the yellow hue in it. Where's my brush? Oh my lord. I already lost my brush. It's because it's dark and I can't see people. What the heck did I do with my brush? This is pathetic. Anyway, it's in here. It's a yellowish stain of some kind. Oh, I just heard it. There it is. It's in here. It's quite big. Could be folds. Anyway, this is behind the pillow, so obviously it's some kind of a blanket. Cats. Stupid cats. But, and here's the tubes. So let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So at least 5. But what I want you to notice is, because again, it boils down to trickery, people. The people, and I don't even call it, they're not people. The things that are doing this to the general public use trickery. They're things, okay? You can't consider them to be human beings. But if you look right here, I'll go in closer. You can see that this particular tube has something in it. Okay? There it is again. And it kind of clears out in there. Comes in quite red in there. Same thing here. Look how clear this is. Clear. And then it starts to fill up with color. Just kind of in here. And then it starts to clear out a little bit. Right? This one here, for whatever reason, is almost equal to the color of, I don't know what that is, mattress cover, which is equal almost to the color of her face. Almost. When you enhance it through exposure, they come out with the same color. Okay? But clearly, this backdrop, this mattress cover, was put in place to trick the eye, again, people, so that you wouldn't notice what was traveling through these tubes. See? There it is, right there. It's traveling through the tube. You can see that. That is because if it was the backdrop, you'd see it through the whole thing. And you're not seeing it through the whole thing. Here it fills up again. It's filling up again. And then it starts to clear out in here. There it is again. Okay? Where am I? I was moving my chair. So clearly you can see that. You can see how it kind of goes, and then it just stops. And it starts to clear, and then I'm going to move in. And right here is color again. So color, it clears out, color, color. This is in the tube. I'm assuming that's another tube. We didn't count that one. Okay? This is a tube. Alright. So you got that, right? So, bring that down. Now here I've enhanced it. I did this like a few nights ago, right? I didn't bring them all up. But just to show you, before we start playing with this, look what's happened. Look at the color of her face. For whatever reason. Do you see this? Okay. Look at the color of the tubes. This is the backdrop, the red backdrop of their mattress cover. And clearly there's something in these tubes that's being offset through the exposure. Right? What is it? The fentanyl that they were giving her? How many doses of fentanyl were they giving her? See, there's that other one. You can see. Right? Picking up blue, other parts of the picture for whatever reason. Her face is blue for whatever reason. Well, turquoise. That's more like a turquoise, a light turquoise. The pillow itself, for whatever reason, which is white, is coming out blue. Why would that be, people? Okay. So now we're going to go. Here is my photo suite from Roxio. I'm going to come in and I'm going to show you. Do you see? And look at the color of her face. Same thing. Exposure. And what we're going to do, we're just going to push OK. And then we're going to working with all these different programs, I get forgetful. So crop. I'm going to crop this because when you crop it enhances. However, oops, sorry, wandering eye. When I save the picture, it comes out really small. So we're just going to go, there's really nothing down there that we're looking at this point. We'll just go as far as that. Okay? See? It brought it up, right? When I was saving them, I was hoping that they were going to save at this size, but they actually don't. They save very little teeny weeny pictures, so it kind of defeats the purpose, right? But besides that point, this is why I'm just going to do it this way. If you notice her skin, with this exposure, it's the same color as her face, as are the tubes. All right. Sorry. Okay. Now we're just going to change the exposure and just muck around for a minute. Let's go lighter. What would happen if I zoomed in the camera? Let's try that versus moving it. I normally don't use zoom. Anyway, I'm just going to move in. I like it better moving in. Do you see what's going on with that tubing? Now, I already pointed out to you that there is something in it. Right? You can clearly see it there. Obviously, something's going on with that. I mean, this is on that backdrop, and if it was going through the tube from the backdrop, it would be through the whole tube, but it's not. And it sure in the heck wouldn't come out blue under a different situation. These people they're not people. These things had no right to do what they did to ShaMay. This is why they didn't want to investigate her being murdered. This is why they disrespected my kids and argued with them and fought with them and humiliated them and taunted them by allowing people in the room who should not have been there. Because they used that as a distraction as to what they were actually doing, people. They were more interested in criminalizing ShaMay as a closet drug addict than they were interested in finding the truth as to what happened to her. Okay? Because they had an ulterior motive. Do you see how this is glowing now? I'm just changing things now. See what we get. That is their dirt on their pillow. I just seen it. Remember I told you there's something on the pillow? There it is. This is their crud on the pillow. It came out yellowish. Probably their body lotions that they put on the body. Right. The remnants of it. Obviously, I'm just lightening it. Just trying to see what manifests from this. So what would happen if we zoomed in this way now? No, I don't see nothing. Hold on. Where is my thing? It's hard to do this stuff in the dark. I'm looking for my magnifying glass now. Oh, here it is. This one. Oh, I'm getting pixels. What am I looking at there? That's their bed frame. That's her skin. So, we've never really had a chance to look at the back of her neck. But we can see it now. What do you think we're looking at? Maybe we should expand that. What do you think? I think I want to do that. Hold on a minute. Again, I cannot. We'll just keep it at that exposure for now. Oh, how do we... Oh, we crop. See, this one you can't resize. This one you crop. Let's see, can we resize it? I don't like to zoom, people, because zoom makes it go funny. Although, zoom in. Do you want to try zoom in? Okay, let's try just zoom in. Hold on. That's her ear. They've got that thing going over her ear. But clearly there's something, you see, zooming it distorts it. Cropping it or resizing is better. But whatever's going on behind her ear is pretty bad. And there's her neck. What I'm going to do is I'm going to unzoom this camera. Not hair, because if it was hair, it would be coming out looking like that. Okay? And it's not. This is kind of like under her nose. There's their tubing. I can see color. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. Slightly. Now this tubing doesn't look clear. It looks more like it's white. But because it's a plastic, it's going to have a different density. And that's why when we change the exposure, we see different colors, people. Because if it was clearly white, like white, you wouldn't see the blue, the turquoise, right? When I change the exposure on it. Because if that was the case, the white sheet would go teal. Right? And these tubes are white. Look how many is there, people. Oh, man. Oh, I lost my paintbrush again. Here it is. Look how many is here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. This is another one right here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. At least 5. At least 5 tubes. And out of these 5 tubes, not one of them is glowing. It's not coming out teal when I change the exposure, and it's not coming out red when I change the exposure. Only those ones. Just these ones right here. And they strategically placed them under a backdrop where technically you wouldn't notice it. But when I'm looking, I can kind of see something in there. Right? Exposures go by the density of, and there's that other one right in here. Right? So, what we want to do is go back to exposure. Sorry. So we're going to dark areas. We're going to enhance the dark areas. So here we're getting shadowing. You can see the shadowing, but the tube is still coming out white, basically. Although when you go into it, here is the tube. Do you see what's happening here? It's past. Okay, there's the cutoff of the blanket. There's the backdrop. It's going down in, there's something in that tube there. You can see it in here as well. All right. Let's change the midtones and see what happens. I want to see what's behind her ear in there. What is this? Notice the color of her jaw. You see that? Notice the color of the backdrop. Notice how the tubing is changing. Exactly the same color as that. Exactly. Do you see that? Now, how is that possible? I'm darkening the bright areas. And then look what happens. Her face is displaying the same color of what these tubes are showing. And these tubes go past the blanket. Here's the blanket. The tube is past. The tube is past. How is it that that tube can be red with a white background? And this is their crud that they're... Where am I? They're sucking out of her. Where am I? There am I. They got quite the little system going on here. Do you see that? Like, this is sick. These people are sick. Sorry, these things are sick. Now, look at these tubes. This one's showing a bit of blue. You can see, but not these ones. Just this one. But it's a different color blue. It's more like a dark blue. Or these ones, they come in teal. And again, they go past the blanket. Right? So we're going to auto fix, and then we're going to just okay it, and then we're going to crop, and we're going to bring it in like this, and we're just going to bring this up. Sorry, wandering eye, paying attention to what I'm trying to do here. You can see I'm just cropping it. It brings it up. And then, what would happen if we just go forward real slow? Oh, I don't know. Where's a magnifying glass? Let's see. You can see... now this is where I wish I had a third hand. You can see up by the blanket, there's something in the tube itself. They're very good at hiding what they do. If you look underneath her ear, it's showing the same kind of crap that was going on under her nose. I'm thinking people, when they went to go shut off their machine, they didn't shut off the machine, people. What they did is they changed the solution to present a different color on her face so that she appeared suddenly dead after they supposedly shut off their oxygen machine. Again, nothing but trickery. Nothing but trickery, people. That's why these things are things. They were doing that with Uncle John. Okay? That's what they were doing with Uncle John. They were doing trickery with Uncle John. Okay, so I'm just going to crop this in a bit more. And they enjoy it. They enjoy what they do. They really do. Because they know they can get away with it. It doesn't bother them. They like to hurt people. They feed off of it. Okay, well, that's not hair curling up underneath her ear. Do you see? You can see it in the actual tube itself. And it's leaving a residue as it's traveling through the tube. I'll go very close to it so you can't miss it. What would happen if I zoomed? Obviously, it gets distorted, but hair doesn't grow under the ear. Right. Now, when you look at it from this point, we're looking at the thicker tube because they're different sizes, it seems. This one here is thicker, and there appears to be something in it This one really glows, like it really stands out, and that's because there is something in it right along with this one. This is what I want you to notice. This right there. It's behind, it's in front of the blanket. Right? Here's the blanket. It's in front, which is equal to the color of her face. When we change the density or the exposure of it, right? They chose this particular color because of that, people. And you can see it, sorry, you can kind of see it in here too. Again, I don't like zoom out. I prefer crop. So we're going to go like this. The only problem is if I try to save it after I've cropped it, when I go to open it up, it comes out tiny like that. So it kind of defeats the purpose. Although I can bring it up in here. It's distorted it. So let's go back into exposure and see what we get. I'm lightening it now. Let me just move it in. What do they have in their hair? What's blue and glowing? Do you see that? Something is glowing. Do you see that? It's in here too. And in here. And something is poking up over there. And in here. I lighten the picture. Do you see that? What is that? What's in her hair, people? It's there. A whole bunch there. There. A whole lot there. Looking kind of green up in there. There. hair does not reflect light like that. What I want you to notice is how deep and dark her jaw is. So basically what I've done is I've darkened the areas. I'm going to now lighten them, just go back a bit, and you're going to see and then we'll do a mid-tone. You see that? Now, autofix. I don't know what picture I was using. So what we're going to do is we're going to close out on that. We don't want to save the page on that. So what we're going to do, I'm going to keep this short for tonight because I just wanted to kind of point that out. I'm tired, right, people? This I'm just tired. What were we looking at? So basically, those are those pictures I was telling you that I was cropping. You can see, right? I mean, clearly something is going on. This is Frankenstein science. We have ghouls, demons, Draculas, and their bitches working at the hospital, right? They've taken over. Okay, this one I haven't shown you yet, but since I'm here, we'll just touch on this briefly because this one's going to require more time. What I want you to notice is how swollen it is right in here, because this is where they supposedly went into her jugular vein, or whatever vein that's right there, which is the jugular vein, because on the first day they tried to say that her blood turned to water, and that's why she had all those poke marks, leaking crap in her arm, which is a bunch of crock, because her blood, they couldn't get blood, so they had to go in there. No, what they did is they went in there, they embalmed her through there, and by the 19th, obviously, it backfired on them because you can clearly see that it's swollen as her face is falling off. Okay, ripping out. Her mouth is ripping out here. But in the other video yesterday, we were looking in her eyes, and if you notice how nicely round these ones were, and we had those little dots, right? Well, I'm thinking they were bruising from, what do you call it? Eye caps. You see that? They had to put a face cloth or something underneath her mouth. Do you see that? To hide it. It's yellow. It's completely flopped over here. Let's see what we get for exposure. We'll do auto fix first. That's auto fix. Do you see what's happened? It's completely flopped over. This is why embalmers wire up mouths, but they can't really wire up the mouth when they're trying to make it look like they're doing something. But this is clearly a yellow face cloth to catch what's falling out and to hide what's behind it. But if you look here, this is where, when I walked into the room on that day, I said, what are all those little poke marks on her arms? And they, her blood turned to water. Oh, we couldn't get blood from her. I said, what's this on her neck that was leaking? And at that time, it wasn't swollen like this, people. They just had a big-ass Band-Aid there that was, like, leaking a bunch of red shit. Well, we couldn't get the blood through the arm, so we had to go in through the neck. Yeah, right, my ass. You embalmed my daughter. That's what you did. I told them she looked embalmed. As they sat up there and accused her of being a drug addict who deserved what she got. That's basically what they said. And then when I asked them to look for needle marks on her arms and body because she was hot capped, the nurse just mocked me. And when I asked for a hair test to see what kind of chemicals were in her body in terms of, like, being poisoned, she said they don't do that. Do you see what we're looking at here? Looking pretty black to me. And extremely swollen. I'm pretty sure this is the 19th, people. You can see what's happening here, right? I'm just moving these things around. No rhyme or reason. I don't profess to know how to do these programs. Under their pad. There's my finger. That's her lip. Here it's just kind of like falling out that way. You can see it going black in there. That's where they punctured her, did whatever they did. You don't really see that black spot now, do you? Because they come in and they touch up with their makeup. Alright, so we'll just auto fix again. And we'll crop again. You see what we're seeing now? Looks familiar. What you're witnessing there is an eye cap. Oh, shit. Scratch my magnifying glass. Oh my God, I did too. People. Looks like I scratched it. Oh no. I chipped this one. You'll see it. See? put my thumb on it. Shit. I'm gonna move this thing that I have in here. Anyway, I think I got my thumb on it. Where is it? You can see it, right? Oh well. I think they were taking the eye caps in and out. When we were looking at that last video where it had those little black dots, if you Google eye caps for embalming, you'll find that they have little spikes on them that cling onto the under the surface of the skin, and it would be almost equal to maybe what we were seeing. This is too uniform for it to not be an eye cap of sorts. Obviously, this one is sinking in. You can see that. Right? Didn't hold its shape. So as they're flipping her head around, things are shifting this way. That's why this is all shifting this way. And then when they move her head this way, that eye gets all weird and shifts this way. Like, it's like sick shit, people. Like, people are morbid. This is like morbid. This is worse than morbid. This is a mental illness. Mm-hmm. Like, how can they go home at night and sleep? It's like they party over this crap. Because like I said, they enjoy hurting people. They enjoyed hurting Uncle John. They enjoyed hurting my teenagers, because my kids were teenagers at the time. They didn't care about Andre. They didn't care about Marcaine. They sure in the hell didn't care about me. Like, the world is just gonna burn up anyway, so I don't know where all these people are taking this money that they rob from others. Really, I don't know. But then some of these things that are working, do you see this? Some of these things that are working, now you can clearly see this, people. Okay? You can see the skin rotting in here. I will do this with paint. On another day. Oh, sorry, wandering eye. If I pull back, you can see it. There. It's everywhere in there. Right up in there. So let's just, for the sake of it, there's her nose. If you notice, they moved up their thing up high to cover what was going on underneath there, but we've already established what was going on underneath there, people. So we're just going to do the exposure for a bit and then call it a day. When I lighten it, you can start to see the bubbles, the blisters. I'm pretty sure this is on the 19th. I'll darken it here. Doesn't do anything. Just continue to lighten it maybe. You can see I had to exit out of the program in order to be able to see that corner, right? Where's her teeth, people? Do you see her teeth? I don't see her teeth anywhere. Here's her nose. This would be her upper lip. Sorry. This would be her upper lip. Where's her teeth? Do you see teeth? If her tongue was hanging over her teeth like that, it would be all cut up and oozing crap constantly. Right? Do you see any back teeth? I don't see no teeth, people. I see nothing. I wonder if I can move this. Oh, I can. Here we go. I want to just move this over here. And we're going to darken the areas. See? Her lip. Under her nose. But this is where it's swollen. Clearly it's starting to rot in there. Just changing things. So we'll just do auto fix. Okay. Where's her teeth? She looks like she has none up here. Her teeth should be here. Okay, if that's the bridge of her nose, sorry. If that's the bridge of her nose, the end of her nose, And here's her upper lip. You don't even see her upper lip in here. You should see teeth. Okay? There should be teeth. And I see no teeth. Absolutely none. Well, what's going on? I scratched it right there, people. Do you see that? That's a shame. I think I still got one more good one. I have 3 of them, but whatever. I've got other ones put away somewhere else from a long time ago, so I'm not too worried about it. So I am going to upload this video as is. I'm not too sure what to think, people. How do you fight things? Because they're walking among us, okay? Only things would do this. Okay, just remember that. Only things.